In today's video, I'm going to be installing some new rear brake calipers on my 350Z and stainless steel lines. So you may remember a while back I replaced the front brake lines and renewed the calipers on the front. However, when I got to the back, I was met with rusty snap bleed nipples and rusty brake line fittings. These are a set of second-hand 350Z rear Brembo calipers where all the bleed nipples are free. I'm going to start by removing the old bleed nipples and replacing them with some new genuine Brembo bleed nipples. I'm just applying a small amount of grease to them to stop them rusting into the caliper for future proofing. And once they're all done, I can begin to take the old brakes off. First, jack up the car and remove the rear wheels. I'm going to start by using a 10mm flare nut spanner to crack loose all the nuts. Not going to undo them completely, just loosen. Then the 12mm bolt holding the line to the caliper bracket. And then the two 19mm bolts holding on the caliper. If I can reach them, that is. I can then take the 12mm bolt out and crack the line off first. In hindsight, I should have clamped the brake line first. And then I can simply remove the caliper. So I'm going to transfer the brake lines, brake pads and slide pin assembly into the new calipers. First I do the brake line. I'm going to take my time with these as they're really rusty. Just a bit of brake cleaner and back and forward motion breaks them loose. And then onto the slide pin assembly. Removing these two little C-clips and then using a hammer and a drill bit to punch out the slide pins. The spring and pads should just fall out. Reassembly is pretty straightforward. Make sure the pistons are all the way back, which these are, and if yours aren't, you'll need a brake caliper winding tool. Just remember to apply some copper grease to the back of the pads. And you can push the slide pins back through and replace the spring. Then finally replace the C-clips and the caliper is all ready to go. I can then put the caliper back on the hub and bolt it down. Now to attach my new stainless steel lines. Crack loose the final flare nut and remove the small retainer clip. Brake fluid is going to start pouring out now, so you have to be quick when putting the new line back on. Once it's on, simply redo up all the nuts and bolts for all the lines. And now it's time to bleed the brakes. Starting at the furthest from the reservoir, which is on this car is the back passenger side, crack the nipples open and someone presses the brake pedal and repeat until no air bubbles are visible. Be careful not to let the reservoir run dry and top up if necessary. And there we have it, some fresh braided steel lines and functioning calipers. At least I'll have more confidence going into corners now knowing my brakes are fully bled. So guys, the 350Z now has new rear brake calipers. I say new rear brake calipers, they're just, you know, ones that actually work. The brakes, the discs and pads are still the ones I already had on the car, the EBC, can't remember the name of the pads, but the the disc, but the actual pads are yellow stuff. They work really well. I found that they're quite nice pads for fast road, and they did alright on the Nürburgring. But the reason for the brake caliper change is because these are the old ones that came off, and as you can see, broken bleed nipple, completely seized, and if you probably tried to put any amount of force on it, it would snap as well. And they're just old and cruddy. The lines were cruddy. Yeah, they're just absolutely knackered, these brake calipers. The beauty is I can send these off to be reconditioned now. So I've got 2 sets on the rear, but it gives me a lot more confidence knowing that I can actually bleed the brakes fully, because it's something I've never really ever been able to do on this car. I've only ever been able to do the sort of bodgy, push the air back up to the reservoir sort of attempt, or crack the only bleed nipple on the rear that actually worked, which was this one. And years ago the other one did, but they've just completely seized solid now. So a lot more confident knowing I can bleed the brakes and actually change the brakes properly in the future. Unfortunately though, the fronts still have an issue. The front left caliper, the passenger caliper, one of the bleed nipples is still snapped on that, which is really annoying because it's the only one on the car. It's why I've still got a bleed nipple left over from my Brembo caliper rebuild kit thing that I got, because that's the one that snapped. Really annoying because it's just the one. Because see if I can get it drilled out, but other than that I'm going to have to try and source another caliper or buy a new one. Problem with going the new ones is you have to paint them yourselves, and also you're going to have possibly an imbalance, because you have one brand new fresh reconditioned caliper and your old one that's done 120,000 miles. It's just something I have to live with for the moment. Really frustrating that it's just that one, but I'm sure I can do a workaround of it. As always guys, this brings me to the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed it, hope you've learned something. I know that I can have way more you know, hope and confidence knowing that my car's brakes actually work now, especially on track, because when I went around the Nürburgring, the brakes were okay, but I knew in my head that they probably weren't as good as they could be. So this is obviously one of those mods that, or one of those fixes that's going to be really beneficial. As always guys, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new here for more content, and I will see you in my next video guys. Take care, keep enjoying your crusty rusty modified cars, Nissans, whatever that you just really wish you'd never bought and you'd got into painting or something, because I'm sure that's a probably way cheaper hobby. See you in my next video.